Hey girls, happy Monday. Tara, I got your graduation announcement in the mail, so thanks for sending that to me. It was cool to see it. Rachel, I am following along with your Vita posts. I'm really excited. You are doing a great job. Marissa, big thumbs up for pulling it out and driving that van. That didn't sound like it was easy, so big props to you for doing that. And Danielle, that is the cutest draft mug I've ever seen. I think that's the cutest mug I've ever seen, and I kind of want one. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. This week we're talking about characters, both our characters and literary characters. If I had to choose a favorite literary character of all time, for me it would be Anne of Green Gables. I spent basically my entire childhood and most of my young adulthood loving Anne Shirley and feel like really relating to her. I think that if you're like an awkward kid and if you were an aspiring writer ever since you can remember, she's really relatable. And my other favorite character in fiction, I would say, is actually Katniss Everdeen, because she's kind of like the anti-Bella Swan, and she doesn't really care about romantic entanglements that happen in the story, but it's not the primary focus. Her primary focus is her family and her own personal survival, and she is a badass and awesome, and she's very different from most female heroines in fiction, which is cool. For characters that I myself have created, my Nano novel was my first long piece of fiction in a long time, and I would say that when you're writing shorter pieces, character development isn't really important because you don't have enough time to develop characters. Short stories are more about the scene and about the situation and about the prose. So for a long time I didn't really focus on creating characters until I started my Nano. Tara, all the comments that you had about my main character in my Nano were really funny, because I have a confession to make, which is my Nano was loosely based on what I thought I might have turned into if we hadn't moved to Georgia, because moving to Georgia had a lot to do with my socialization, because when we lived in New York, I went to an all-girls private school, and even though we lived in New York City, my entire life was much more sheltered in New York than it ever was in Georgia, because all the girls in the school that I went to were all socioeconomically and ethnically just like me. Even though we lived in New York City, I just had this small little insular group of people in my world that were just like me. And when we moved to Georgia, I had to start going to public school. I had to start dealing with going to school with boys and going to school with people who were very different from me. And that's really, it took many, many years, but that's really what forced me to come out of my shell. So I kind of imagined my main character, my Nano, kind of never having gone through that and growing up in New York the whole time and being really insulated and really awkward and never really developing that cognitive function of relating to people. It helped in her case because the story really required for her to be a character that was very much in her head and extremely awkward. I did intend to kind of make her more different from me as I edited, but I haven't really edited yet, so there we go. My question for you this week is, are you good at keeping secrets? And if you are you better at keeping your own secrets or someone else's secrets, or both, or neither? So tell us. 3, Rachel. Today's word of the day is miscellaneous, and girls, I will see you next Monday, and Tara, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!